Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning scan for March 17th, 2019. I am currently in no positions with no pending orders. So I'm excited to make this video this morning because I think I have a good understanding of what's going on in the market. So I'm excited to share my thoughts and, see if you guys understand, as well as see if they make sense saying them out loud. So first, I'll start off with a low time frame, just an intraday look at what could possibly be going on. So what I did here to create this range, this is a very, very simple range. So my range low is just right at the breakout point, right? So the breakout point is right here. Okay, so we can see that even if I extend this line all the way left, this was an area of resistance, right? This is also the 1-day support and resistance, this 39.30 to 39.40 level. So I put my range low right at this candle because this is where we saw the breakout. Okay, so we saw the breakout retest right here, and then we shot up and made this high here, this swing high. Okay, so that's my range low. My range high is also very simple because all I have is these candle bodies. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches with this range high. So this is a strong range high, even though it's on low time frame. That's still a good range high in my opinion. So looking good there. And of course, equilibrium is just half of the range, and you can see that this works out very well as an equilibrium as well because we see a clear support, broke through, clear resistance from that equilibrium. Okay, so now what I see here is these highs, and yes, I'm on lower time frame right now. I'll move up in a few minutes just to show you on higher time frame, but we have these highs here that have been untapped, as well as these highs here, and we have this 30-minute block, so this down move which led to the up move right here. Okay, so now if I move on to the hourly, you can see these highs much more clear. Okay, these highs. Now even on the 4-hour, the most important highs, the highs on the hourly kind of disappear with the 4-hour, right? They're not really that, they don't stand out too much. But if I go to the 4-hour, these highs really stand out, right? These are basically perfectly equal highs. Okay, so right into that 30-minute block. So we'll see if price goes for those highs. It makes sense for me to see those, to see price go for those highs because we are bouncing off of this. Which chart I want to show? I think this one. Yeah. So we are bouncing off of this daily support and resistance, right? This acted as resistance for the last, I think it's 18 days or something. So we finally broke through it. Of course, it makes sense we're going to bounce there on the first attempt. If we didn't, that would be way more bearish than I even think we are right now. So we are seeing that bounce. That's good. So basically, I do think we'll see another attempt at the low 4Ks, which would check out with my lower time frame argument, which I lost. Okay, my lower time frame argument, right, just below 4K. We have this 30-minute block. We also have just below 4K this area right here, which has acted as resistance, this distribution area right here. Okay, so we could see another attempt at that. We could also see, another attempt even at the initial high or even this weekly high. I think this is unlikely, 4,100. I don't know, I guess it's hard to say, but that is still a resistance right there. And I will wait for the reactions at red and or 4,100 before I make my decision. I feel like I want to go over something else. Overall, I think this is a very weak bounce off of an area that really must bounce, right? We see this initial wick here, but that's really all we see. We see the volume after, the buyback from the must bounce area, and then the volume basically disappears, and there's absolutely no volume right now, and it's pretty pathetic in terms of a bounce. And what I posted on Twitter and in the group, I posted this little thread, and basically what I said is I may stay flat until the weekly close. Holding 39.40 as support is absolutely key for any move up, which I went over because it's the breakout point as well as the daily support and resistance. I also said that after price, let me go to my daily chart. So what I said was after price was below 39.40 for over 2 weeks, so it broke through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have to count these. It's over 2 weeks. What you would typically expect when price isn't consolidating for that long you would expect a more explosive move up regardless of the resistance above it. Just because you have to assume, if price is forming these higher lows, right? A couple different higher lows for the last month, right? Over a month at this point. So we've been forming those higher lows for over a month. We are, where was I going with that? I have so much that I want to talk about. I keep forgetting my current thoughts. But so we have higher lows, right? We've been forming those for the last month. We've been consolidating in a pretty tight, choppy range for the last 18 days. So we can assume that if this is bullish, then the larger players will be accumulating their long positions in this consolidation period. But only a, 3.5% move, and really, to be honest, it's only a 2.5% move from the original breakout point, really is not that special considering the higher lows, consolidation, right? All of that stuff. That's really nothing special. And it came to my attention that, I've been saying this a lot, but I really hate higher lows on Bitcoin and Ethereum because, that's just a perfect opportunity to generate liquidity to go higher. So typically what we see is a violent move down to get the liquidity from the higher low. So there's going to be stops below here, obviously here, which is the initial low, higher low here, stop there, or stops there, and then there. So the bigger players will want that liquidity, so you're going to see an explosive move down to the origin of the higher lows, so possibly right here, or maybe even right here. And I went over that in yesterday's video, I'm pretty sure. But that's still, unchanged, and I really don't like to see higher lows. It'll be hard to convince me otherwise if we do start to rally here that we won't get a massive move down. But right now, every bounce still is an opportunity to enter into a short position at a higher price, and that has not changed for me at this time. Anything else? Oh yeah, and this Twitter thread that was from January 19th, this is basically the same structure in my opinion. So what we're seeing here is, if we look at my daily chart right here, where's my daily chart? Okay, right here, that works. Okay, so my daily chart right here, we have our original low and higher lows, right? Doesn't this look like the same distribution structure? So typically what we see for Bitcoin, I see this all the time, especially on lower time frames. But we see a series of higher lows, a distribution top for some time. This is a longer area of distribution. This ended up being a shorter area. You can see in my next tweet. This was only like 20 hours later we saw the dump, and this was, much later. But regardless, I think this looks very, very similar. And we have these higher lows. We have the origin bounces after the origin of the higher lows is taken, the origin of the higher lows, which that 550 level is confluent with a lot of different stuff. So it would make complete sense to get a violent move down there and then a bounce off of there. The origin of the higher lows, that also checks out. So this structure, of course, people will cherry pick it and say, okay, well, there's not a resistance level there, and just different stuff like that. I'm sure there's problems with this compared to this structure, but just in terms of the series of higher lows and then bouncing after the origin of the higher lows is taken, as well as the possible distribution that could be going on right now above this, breakout, I guess you could say, because again, we broke out here, right, on this example, broke out here, got rejected at the first resistance, distribution, dump. That looks eerily similar. So I'm going to be looking for shorts until that dump happens. I hope I explained that well. Ethereum, I still think, is leading the market right now. And of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum mirrors each other's price action, but one sometimes leads the other. And I think Ethereum is leading right now. We finally got those highs, got rejected, but we did close the day above this weekly resistance here, and I went over this resistance area in my morning scan yesterday. But we did close above here, but we did close this 12-hour candle below the weekly resistance, so I think I'm still going to sit out until the weekly close because we may see another move up here, but I am interested in shorting both Ethereum and Bitcoin. So I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. I think this argument is strong, and I'll have to reevaluate my argument if Bitcoin breaks above this red area, which is 4,100. But until then, I'm feeling good about this argument. If you have any further questions, as always, please feel free to ask. Thank you.